Welcome to Plumbing Around, sponsored by Temecula Winnelson. I'm Scott Thornton, your host. And today, I'm doing something I haven't ever done before. One, we're doing our first Zoom podcast. And two, I'm doing it with my absolute favorite artist in the world, I think, because she's amazing. Sharon, I'm going to screw it up because we just talked about it.
Sorry.
Daughtering. I
Daughtering.
screwed it up.
That's okay. It's okay.
Daughter. Say
It's
it for
all
me.
good. Daugherty.
That's what I said, right? Daugherty.
Yeah, Daugherty. It's in there somewhere. I'm going to say you did it right.
Right? I mean, 5 seconds and I couldn't get it right. Amazing.
It's okay. It's okay.
So, Sharon is, how I know her, is an artist from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across her on Instagram and was immediately drawn to her art. Beautiful. And after her and I had some exchanges, and I've bought some of her pieces now. I think I'm up to like 10,
I think
11
so.
pieces,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
I was going to count the other day and I forgot. I don't want to do that either because my wife will know and she'll be like, "Oh, well, how much you spent?"
And then I'm leaving the country.
Yeah. But you and I've had so many interesting discussions, I think, just about art and life and different things.
Yes.
And as I went through your art and I kept collecting more and more of it, and I decided I wanted to write a book, I knew you had to be the person to do the cover. And I just loved it. So, but we'll start with what led you to art?
I would have to say the house I grew up in and the city I grew up in led me to art and to my style of art. I'm from Philly,
Mhm.
and I lived in this neighborhood that was just filled with, like the whole city, it's filled with music. I grew up with the Philadelphia sound, and there's graffiti and murals
Mm.
and colorful people, and and everything. And in our house, my brother just is an amazing sketch artist, and he's a fashion designer and all the things. So I just, between music and his art and the art of the city, and just I think I was just always, I needed to express something, and I started copying what he was doing and was like, hey, that looks like what I intended for it to look like. So and
Wait a
excuse
second.
me, yeah, something's happening here. And when I started doing it, I felt something inside that
Mm.
was really powerful. As a child, it was like another voice. And I was
How
the
old were you?
youngest. Oh, I started sketching when I was around 10.
Okay.
And we would take these summer road trips down to South Carolina, where my parents are both from. And I would be in the way back of the station wagon, and just, my everybody's getting on my nerves. They're all adults. I don't know what they're talking about. So I had my sketchbook with me, and I just felt like it seemed like that was a way to escape into my own world. When you're 11 and 12 years younger than your siblings, your voice doesn't get heard in the same way.
Mm.
So I had my own world and my own voice, which came out of my pencil, and it just never stopped. I was always sketching, always, always, always. And then I majored in commercial art. I went to a vocational high school and majored in commercial art there, and found out that's another application, and fashion was another application. So it was always with me. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
I guess my next question is going to be, well, what were some of your influences from Philly? But like looking at the picture right behind you, I
Yeah.
mean, you can see it right there.
It really, it's the city itself. Um, And you know, my work, it's a lot of this kind of stuff. It's a lot of
Hmm.
graffiti influence. It's very textural, because I feel like it's the city, the characters in the city are not just the people. You know, the buildings have a story to tell. There's, you know, it's an old city, walls built up with layers of old flyers and tagging and, you know, people writing that, you know, whoever's dating whoever, whatever it is, layers and layers and layers of decades and decades and decades of stories being told. And that's the way it comes, that's the way it reads to me. And so when I make these pieces, it's about just like the tapestry of it, you know?
Mm.
And just like
That's
every person is layers, there's layers to all of us. So that's what I'm always trying to get out, you know? And so that's the influence to me.
such a, and it's funny because you and I have not discussed that before, and
Hmm.
that's such a beautiful way to look at it, really.
Thank you.
Just the layers and layers of stories, and you're just kind of peeling them back to
Yeah.
expose them to the world. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that because
Oh, yeah.
that's a whole new way for me to look at things. And
I don't
yeah.
know if I didn't realize we hadn't touched on that before. I think because you and I tend to discuss each piece,
Mm.
but not the
Yeah.
undercurrent of the whole body of work. You know, I think that we do that with your work, and then the way that your poems always connect with specific pieces. So we
Mm.
end up discussing that connection most of the time, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, and I think we've talked before too. I could see the city,
Yes.
was an influence, right? Especially, in some of your pieces, I was like, oh, brownstones but then, yeah, to hear how you interpret it is
Yeah.
fascinating.
Well, thank you. And you know what?
Yeah.
And you always did get it. That was the other thing that would always just trip me out a little bit, is that, you know, you would be like, I see this, and it would just, including the piece that's on your cover,
Mm. Hmm.
I think that it you really understood them, you know. And so when you don't have to explain anything, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what how your work speaks to me. It's oof.
Yours,
Uh,
as yours does to me. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I think one of the other things I find fascinating about your work is like I love abstract art, but yours
Hmm.
is like a combination almost of some realism, but the abstract.
Right.
And is that
Excuse me.
just a story coming through to you then, or how did you wind up there?
It's usually a story I'm trying to tell that's based on something, a memory trigger or
Mm.
something. And I love children's book illustration, and I love simplicity. And so I think I'm always trying to strip it down. I don't want to be totally literal, but I want to tell. So if it's a still life and it's based on all the crap that's on the table during the holidays when my mother's trying to decorate the table, and I'm thinking about just those iconic pieces, her favorite candy dish and my father's favorite cup and things like that. And so the story has to do with, just like with the layers of people, what does it represent? Um, and so when I'm doing these pieces, it's an abstract piece, but it's based on something that's very real to
Mm.
me. Um,
Hmm.
and I like the simplicity of it because I'm always trying to take people to that place of childlike wonder.
Yeah.
You know.
So you said the child book. You gotta like was it the Very Hungry Caterpillar?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Now,
I
now that
do.
you, yeah, now that you say
Yes.
that, I
Hmm.
totally can see some of your work in that.
Oh, thank you. I That's a
Yeah.
compliment. Yeah, I love Faith Ringgold. Um, is my the late Faith Ringgold is my favorite artist and great influence. And it's funny because I'm not as deeply influenced by the masters, um, of those schools of thought, although I do have my favorites. But it's again the stories that she tells and the simplicity, the power of something as simple as the illustration in a children's book. Because when you think about this is a single digit kid here, and you're trying to teach them some life lesson,
Yeah.
and these images have to make sense to them, but also teach. It's so important. The simplicity of color and shape and line. So yeah. So yes, Very
Yeah.
Hungry Caterpillar I love, and all the books I read to my girls growing up. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Nice.
love that
Oh,
one.
yeah. My kids liked it, and it was my favorite too, probably.
Oh, it's so
So
beautiful.
should
I
we read
mean,
this one? The
right?
colors were,
Exactly,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Oof. Um, so when I found the first thing I bought from you, and I know it's from you, was your watercolors.
Hmm.
But then you use so many other mediums too. Do you
Yeah,
have a preferred medium, or how do you decide?
it's. I think it's based on the mood that I'm in, and it's based on the subject that I'm painting.
Hmm.
When I need to meditate and escape, I go to watercolor because watercolor is so freeing. It's a difficult medium because it's difficult to control.
Hmm.
If you don't know how to manage, it can run away from you and do what it wants to do, which I often will let it do. But I choose watercolor because it's magical and it creates those worlds, again, back to the children's world that you can escape into. There's something about those pieces, ink and watercolor together. But then
Hmm.
when I use acrylic, is when I want to go heavy and powerful, and I want to really drive emotion because that color is so, vivid, especially as it moved forward in my work and was able to use better quality paint with deeper pigment and so forth. I think that those rich, deep pigments really go deep inside of the viewer, you know. So, but it just depends on how I'm feeling and and the story, you
Yeah,
know.
what you're trying to portray, huh?
Excuse me.
All right. Yeah, um, I think. Well, obviously, the cover to my book
Acrylic.
is
Hmm.
my favorite
Yeah.
piece you've done,
Yeah.
and then the piece that's blue and the lady's head, and she's got her hair. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
Um.
it's just like her head.
Oh yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh, and yeah,
Oh.
just the color of that. Um, I mean, do you, and I want to start trying to paint, but
Hmm.
do you, I mean, was that a combination of colors, or was that one color that you just, how do you get
It
to that?
it was it's about three. I really have been working on limiting my color palette because I think that it really is it's very um intense to stay within one color palette and tell a whole story.
Mm,
I That piece is three different blues
mm,
that, and I wanted to see what I could do with just mixing those three blues, um, in terms of light and shape. And then I like to use old brushes. I used to buy those super expensive camel hair, blah blah blah, and now I craft brushes are my thing. And but I chose I chose those blues because I was in love with um Miles Davis Blue Period, and I always,
oh,
and I was kind of chasing that powerful simplicity of
yeah,
form and of color. And how much can you say when you limit what you're working with? So between what the brushes did for me with the texture, and then just layers and layers and layers. So, but I
yeah.
just wanted to keep it very simple. Mhm.
So stunning.
Thank you
It's
so much.
it's above my TV, and I get to look at it every night. And it's just,
Oh,
I mean, sometimes I just find myself sitting there staring at it and not even paying attention to what's on the TV,
oh
just
my
because
gosh.
it draws you in.
That's such a well, I, you have a way of picking my personal favorite pieces, and
Great minds.
great mind. And I don't, I rarely pre- add facial features
Mhm. I love
because I
that.
like people to figure out who the person is. Sometimes people see themselves,
Hmm.
and sometimes they see someone they know, or they invent a story, whatever it may be. And that piece I was really excited about because you could see some shape and some emotion even with just the blue. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm so glad you had like that piece. I'm glad you have it.
Yeah. So am I. So when when I decided, all right, I'm going to write this book,
Hmm.
and I started, working up stuff for it, I was like, I know who I want to do the cover. You scared me for a while because there was some radio silence. I was like, oh
Right.
man, is she going to do it? Is it? And then you sent me three pieces to choose from.
Hmm.
And as soon as I saw that orange and cream and
Oh,
like, I knew, I was just like, oh, that's what it's meant to be.
right.
That's it. Um, what?
I was so happy you picked that one. I could not believe. I was so happy. That
Oh,
piece was so that piece was such a moment. That was an unplanned piece. It was so from the gut.
hmm.
So when you picked that one, it blew me away because that was the
Oh,
one that was so emotional to create that, you know.
I felt it. I mean,
Yeah,
that it just exudes that. It
yeah.
exudes emotion. And thank you.
Thank you.
You know,
I still can't
oh,
believe that because I know you follow a lot of artists, you support a lot of artists, and so for you to have
mm,
chosen my work was just I was so honored. Still am so
oh,
honored, and I just and I know I was quiet when you asked me. I was like, I have to answer. And it wasn't that I was trying to think about if I wanted to do it. It was an instant yes when you asked me. But then I was tripping. I was like, can I do that for your work? Because I know the journey of your work
mm,
and you putting this book together and what you put into every piece. Every piece is like a birth when I read your work,
mm.
and I'm just like, there is so much in, you know, and I just wanted to do it justice, you know.
Well, you did more than that. It's, whew. And so I guess I mean, you kind of answered. I was gonna say, what was your feeling on it, and
Yeah.
so I guess I'll ask, what's your feeling of the end product of your art, my poetry, and the book itself?
I think it's such a beautiful marriage. I really do.
Mm,
I I'm the reason I'm so glad you chose that cover is because it's the one that I thought really represented the journey that your works talk about,
hmm.
the human experience, the spirit on the spirit having the human experience. And I
Yeah.
live by that I am a spirit having a human experience. And so your work always makes me think about that journey. And
Mm.
so for you to pick the piece that was the most spirit driven, so I feel like it just is just right. I think that if someone looks at the cover and didn't know what kind of work they're about to read, I feel like the cover says something about what they should be
Get
expecting,
ready for an emotional roller
Get
coaster.
ready
Yeah.
for a ride. Get ready.
Yeah.
Get your Kleenex. Get ready cuz you're going
Yeah.
to, you know, um yeah. So
Yeah.
when I was working on that piece, I put on some really good music that took me out of where I was. I put on
Well, you gotta
music
share
that,
what it was.
oh, it was Earth, Wind, and Fire
All right.
because first I started with jazz. I paint to jazz a lot. I paint to, Ella and Billy and Sarah and all the greats,
Hmm.
and some of the current people too. But then I went into Earth, Wind, and Fire because it takes me home. And
What do you mean by that?
it's the soundtrack of my life in the 70s in Philly. My parents are part of the Great Migration from the South to the North. And, um, growing up in a city in like that during the 70s and the 80s, when your parents are from the South and you live, in this neighborhood with, it's like the music that Earth, Wind, and Fire made talked about a time and a space and how to, again, be a spirit in this time and space. And I just wanted to vibe, and it just really touched my spirit and just took me. I'm reading this book now called The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down.
Hmm.
And it
Okay.
is it's a medical anthropology. It's part of a medical anthropology course that I took in school years ago, but I'm rereading it because of a project I'm working on. And one of it talks about the collision of culture with modern Western medicine. And one of the things, the tribe that they're talking about, and you'll forgive me at the specifics, are elude me at the moment, but of the name of the tribe. But one of their practices for hundreds of years is to, um, after childbirth, to bury the placenta. And
Hmm.
their belief is that even if you live to be 100 years old and on the other side of the world, when you die, your spirit will go on a journey and follow every place you went in your lifetime all the way back to where the placenta is buried. And that just pretty wild stuff. I mean, and it just fascinated me, And I brought that up because when I play certain music, I'm
Hmm.
on that kind of a journey. I'm going back to where I came from, and and so all of that happened when I painted that piece. So,
I feel it. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Um, I think because, like, for me, poetry, art, music, it's all the same thing basically. It's
Mhm.
things that move your emotions.
Yes,
It touches you somewhere inside that you can't define, but
right.
you're just you go, "Oh, yes."
Totally.
And so that's beautiful to hear about Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I don't know all their stuff, but I know some of their stuff. And it's almost like Miles Davis,
Mhm.
existential. It's otherworldly.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
So,
That's why when you told me that you were getting ready to start painting, I was
mm.
so excited because because I want to see what you do. And then I saw Pete, and I was like, I knew he was going to be able to paint because I just knew, you know,
I don't
because
know.
to
I've
your,
only done that one piece, and I'm still intimidated. So,
I mean, but we all are. But to your point, it's the creative. It's
mm,
being a creative and needing to express, you
yeah.
know, what no matter how it comes out. My youngest daughter is a sculptor,
Mm,
but she's a writer, and when she cooks, everything she does, what she wears, it all has to. We're like that, you know what I mean? We have something to say, and it
yeah.
comes out in so many different ways, that I don't think any of us should just say, I'm a writer or I'm a painter or I'm a singer or whatever it is. It's gotta, if it's in you and you gotta get it out, whatever your instrument, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't even, I sent you little notes on things we could talk about, whatever. And the
Hmm.
very first word I wrote, and I didn't use it when we started, but was creative.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
you're creative, and so
Yep.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So you mentioned your daughter. Let's learn a little
Hmm.
bit about Sharon then.
Oh,
Who's Sharon? What's what are you doing down there in Atlanta?
oh.
you obviously have a family, it sounds like.
I do. I do. I have
And I kind of know you got the daughters and and proud. So let's talk about them a little bit.
very proud of my babies, who are not babies. But yeah, yeah, I've been married 30 years,
Mhm.
to this incredible
Congratulations.
man who is a singer and a songwriter and a writer himself. And
Mm.
so we've been blessed with this really creative, explosively creative home. So my daughters are 28 and 26, Amira and Amina. And Amira just got married a month ago and moved
Congratulations.
out of state. So we're
Well,
still,
you don't like that, but
I don't like that. That was a rough, oh my, Scott, you should have been here to document when she pulled off. You want to talk about, you could have written the poem of poems about that moment. That was the emotion. Oh, and so we're
yeah,
still, adjusting to her being gone. But we love her new husband very much. So we're happy about that. And
yeah.
Amira is a singer and a songwriter, and she um, has went to school and was about to go to law school when COVID hit,
Mm.
and she started just posting singing videos on TikTok and Instagram, and American Idol called, and
Really?
yeah,
I
so
mean,
she's,
I've seen the video. She's super talented.
oh, thank you. That was the beginning. And her father's been working with her musically her whole life, but there was like parallel passions.
Hmm.
And then when we were in the COVID bubble, she just really got into her music, and she went off to LA for American Idol, and she got a golden ticket and all the stuff. And so she's been recording, and she's got new music coming out, and she's had some very big moments, and we're just so proud of her. And then my baby girl, Amina's 26, and like I said, she's a sculptor and an art critic, and she writes art critiques and articles for magazines, and she's very fascinating. I think you'd really find her very fascinating as well. She's got a take on horror she's examining right now. She's creating a video essay series, and she's exploring the parallels between horror and our real life experiences,
Yeah.
horror as a genre, and diving into that. So she's really so interesting. She's just very cool. So, and she's heading off to
Yeah.
Japan in January to, she's got into a writing course, and
Okay.
she's going off to Japan to study there. So we're sort
Heck
of
yeah.
semi-empty nesters trying to adjust to this part of
Yeah.
life, this new stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's life. I'm down here. I'm writing. Um, I started a new Substack. I'm very excited about,
I'm gonna check it
and
out. I've seen some of your
yeah,
stuff on LinkedIn lately. Is that part of it?
that's part of it. I started a Substack called Pot Liquor.
It's funny to me
Mhm.
because I will go back to the pots after my wife's done cooking and stuff, and if it's like a sauce or whatever, I'm
That's it.
that's
That's
good.
it.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
I'm a pot licker.
That's it. And it's in both, right? Because pot liquor is the juice from the collard greens, and so the Substack is about cultural and ancestral
Mm.
healing, and how we connect to it now. And so I'm very excited about it. I'm about to interview my mother, and so it's a
Ooh,
new, yeah. I'm very excited about that. So yeah.
yeah, that's
So
cool.
we keep him busy down
Mhm.
here in Atlanta. We keep him busy.
It's called Hot Atlanta for a reason, right? Yeah.
Ooh, because it's 79 degrees in November.
Mm.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
but
that's warmer than we were today. We're out in California, so
did
it's been
y'all get in the
rainy and
70s? Oh, see,
it'll be 90 at Christmas.
I,
So
and as much as I love California, I do miss a
mm,
nice cold winter. I miss it.
I miss the
So
seasons. I've been here 17
yeah.
years now, and fall? Are you kidding me? Come on.
Oh,
Yeah, I miss it. And I don't miss the -20 wind chill. I don't miss
right,
the 3 feet of snow. I don't
right.
miss that stuff. I don't miss it being February and you're tromping through puddles and right.
Yeah, digging out
Um,
your car and stuff.
yeah, yeah. But I could see myself someday winding up somewhere where you get a nice little dusting of snow, sticks around for a few days, and then it's
Yeah.
gone. Yeah.
Where is that place?
I've been thinking about Virginia.
Oh,
I think
is
they
that like
have.
okay?
So I don't know. I got to research it some more. I'm an idea guy, so
Yeah,
I got to
yeah.
have people do the research for me.
I heard that. Well, share it with me when you get the results.
All right, you got
Okay,
it.
okay.
So, um, I think going back to when we were first starting to talk here, you
hmm
talked about when you were such an age gap between you and your siblings, and you felt alone.
Yeah.
And I related to that so much because I was an only child for 8 years, and
Oh.
and then there all of a sudden there's this little baby,
Oh
and then
wow.
as I get older, I got nothing in common with this little baby and stuff. So I started reading and collecting comic books. So this is Better Ray Bill from Marvel
Ah,
Comics.
okay.
Um, at a young age, probably 5 or 6,
hmm
and it was my way to, it was my community. I didn't have a lot of friends,
Gotcha.
um, and it was my way to right be creative and have a
Yes.
community. And I had all these imaginary friends in these comic books and stuff. So
Uh, isn't it amazing to have that world? Now, do you
yeah.
still are you
Oh
still
yeah.
in community with collectors and so and oh, that's
Oh, I
awesome.
still I read what every Wednesday is new comic book day. So
Oh, I
I didn't
love
make it
that.
yesterday. I went today, picked up my new comic books, and
Okay.
I'll read them over the next week or so. And yeah, for sure.
Do you pick
So
up this new comic books in the same series, or do you like to try just new stuff and
uh, there's some series I've done a long time,
hmm
and then there's some I just like to pick up new to see what's going on. And yeah,
okay.
and
Okay.
if art catches my eye and stuff like that.
Yes, yes.
I want to ask you, what's new coming up beside your Substack?
hmm
What's Sharon got going on?
Well, I think it's right now it's about life transition. It's an
Mm,
interesting time. So I think right now I'm in this sort of really introspective space where I'm trying to figure out who I am I
mm-hmm.
next chapter because my daughters are out there taking on the world now, and so I'm just trying to
Your role's
redefine who
changed.
I am. It's changed. It's totally
Yeah.
changed. And it's a weird space to be in when your your kids are grown enough to be on their own, but they still need you. And then your parents, my mom is 89 and she's good, but of course she's, much older. So I'm
Yeah.
in that weird sandwich. So I'm dealing with a lot of emotion around that. There's a lot of,
Mm.
ebb and flow there. But I'm just like excited. I'm just like that with the Substack. It's just having time to
Yeah. New
just
creative.
explore. Yeah, to just be creative and explore what I'm even interested in doing and what I have to
Well,
say. And,
mhm.
yeah.
One, as a fan of yours,
Mhm.
I need to see some more art. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yes, it has not. It has been a while.
And two, so where can people find your art? Check out your again. You're one of the most beautiful artists I've ever come across. So how can
Oh,
they find
thank you.
your art, get it into their collection, get some Sharon the artist into their life?
Well, Sharon D Artist is the brand, and so the website is sharondartist.com. And I am in the process of loading a lot of new, well, it's not all brand new, but more work onto the site. There's some new prints there that are available and some originals, and I'm adding new stuff because, to your point, I have not been painting enough lately. And now that my daughter's married and all that's cleared out of my head, I have space, and so I'm going back in my studio to just start seeing what happens. It's time to start banging it out.
Yeah.
And So SharonDartist.com is the website, and there'll be new work coming back to my Instagram, SharonD_artist. And so I want to see what I come up with next there, because I haven't, and I need to paint. I need it.
Yeah, your soul needs it.
My
So
soul needs it, And what's
my
so
soul needs
funny? Well, I'm here for your soul. I'm here. But that feeling when you haven't been doing your work for a while,
it. Hmm.
and something feels off, and then when you start doing it, you're like, that's what I needed. That's what it was. I
Yeah.
feel like that's where I'm at right now.
Well, David, who's behind the camera here, is shaking his head like, "Yes, I know." So
David,
you're preaching
right?
to the choir here.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you. I'm telling you.
absolutely. Well, I want to thank you a million times for coming on. Um,
Oh,
such I have such fun talking with you, and it's usually text between you and I, but I think
yes.
you're amazing. Um, Thank you for everything you do, and I'm gonna have to talk to you about that painting. I know you sent me a picture of it, but seeing it behind you, I'll be messaging you. So
We will talk. We will talk. And thank you for having me, because
yeah,
it's such an honor. Meeting you has been a true blessing in my life,
well,
and thank you for giving voice to my work and letting me tell a little of my story. It means the world. It really does.
yeah,
So thank you.
absolutely. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.